a special interview with one of the architects of the recent landmark 2G judgments, Justice Ashok Kumar Ganguly. Justice Ganguly, let me start with a comment made about your recent landmark sanctions judgment and 2G judgment, both of which were delivered in the last 30 days. The first was reserved in November 2010 and made public 13 months later. The second was reserved in March 2011 and delivered 11 months later. Both were delivered during an election campaign. And in some quarters, this has led to people being suspicious about the timing and the delay. How do you respond to that sort of comment?
These two judges were heard by a bench of Justice Singhvi and myself, but both the judgments were reserved by my learned senior colleague, Justice Singhvi. I can tell you, if the judgments had been reserved by me, they would have been delivered long ago.
So in other words, the reservation was not done by you, it was done by your brother judge?
Senior brother judge, yes.
And you were determined to deliver it before you retired?
Yes, otherwise it would have been a huge loss of time, because these cases can't be dismissed off the cuff. These cases were heard, at least more than 30 hearing days were devoted. So again, when the judicial time is so precious, I would have felt very sad, and people would have criticized the system if these judgments were not delivered.
So the suspicion in some quarters about the delay or the timing is unwarranted?
Absolutely.
And the delay, if there was any, was only because your fellow judge, your senior fellow judge, wanted to reserve it for a while?
Yes, the judges are under tremendous pressure, especially the Supreme Court. You see, so as a result of this pressure, it must have been delayed.
Now,
I'm sure the delay is not intentional.
We have a question from the listener, Shamal. He's asking about Justice A.K.Ganguly in his interview to Karan Thapar indicated that Supreme Court judges are an immense pressure. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, well, certainly. I know for a fact that the relatives of judges are not safe. If supposing something is being decided, they may not talk directly to the judges, but they can talk to the relatives of the judges and say, "Won't tell your relative." They are. I mean, the stakes are very high. And, of course, Justice Ganguly is as tough as they come. So there wasn't a problem with him. But other judges may not, even if they don't want to, because their families are targeted, their grandchildren are targeted, all kinds of offensive telephone calls come. So these are some of the things that the judges face. And I must say, our judges also have to work very hard, because in the United States Supreme Court, they won't take more than 200 cases a year. In Indian Supreme Court, they take up 300 cases per day. And, they all take briefs, and you've got to read them and then give a measured judgment. So it's a lot of hard work. And I think, but still, given all that, the Supreme Court has made us proud.